once gani magkambyo ang administration, kambyuhan man tanan.
The winner take all, abe?
Winner take all, and doka unfair man sina. I'm sure there are mga regular employees in government who are doing the right jobs that they're doing.
The following joined DNX in its second anniversary celebration. Negros Occidental Governor Eugenio Jose Lexon, Negros Occidental Vice Governor Jeffrey Ferrer, Bacolod City Mayor Evilio Leonardia, Bacolod City Vice Mayor Elcid Familiaran, and Bacolod Congressman Greg Casataya.
And we have Sir Vladimir Gonzalez once again this afternoon. Before we talk politics, let's talk about business. Tiempo muerto, subong. And we are starting to feel the pinch, especially now nga may pandemic. Ano yung imo paglantaw as a businessman?
Well, as a businessman, we are into real estate development. And one thing nice with real estate, for me, that's the least affected, especially during this pandemic. Somehow, of course, the purchasing power of the public naapektuhan man gid. But nonetheless, gasigi-sigi man siya. So, in our housing development, we concluded several projects here in Bacolod. Our next expansion is already outside Bacolod, which is Talisay.
And by the way, for those who are watching us right now, we have to let them know ikaw ang tag-iya sa Country Homes.
That's correct.
And you have how many, anong panawag ni mo na, sites, subong?
Well, for the past, let's say, 17 years in the industry, we have several sites, and that includes also Iloilo. We had one in Iloilo. Diri sa Bacolod, we have several, and the last that we did is Estefania, which is where ang last namon nga phase was the third phase of Estefania, and we concluded that also. And last year, we started expanding sa Talisay, which in total, siguro it will reach more than 1,400 units of housing project, which is also called Country Homes Dos Hermanas Talisay.
So you have Country Homes Mandalagan.
We have Mandalagan, we have in Alihis.
Alihis.
Sa Estefania, so we have 3 phases there. And hopefully, we'll be also expanding in some other areas here in Negros.
But there are reports na nagsaka ang presyo ng construction materials.
Obviously, yeah. Every year, gasaka man gina siya. And that includes also the labor component and everything. But the good thing with real estate, it goes with the time. So, gasaka man ang presyo actually.
Gasaka, ang sang per unit.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's go to politics once again. It was actually you who said nga, and I would say predicted accurately, nga si Albee Benitez will run as mayor. I remember that interview like several months ago, and you said nga in your heart you believe nga si Albee will run, and there was that certitude sa imong pronouncement. Now that nag-declare na siya nga madalagan siya, what's in the future for you?
Well, you're correct, several months ago, I expressed na confidence na si Albee would really run for office, for mayorship here in Bacolod. And now it happened. And in my part, actually, people would notice I'm very silent. In the past several months since April, I've been silent for my plans, because as a team, we have decided na we'll give Mayor Albee the prerogative to make his decision. Kaya kadamo pa sa mga dynamic nga kakalatabo . And as we go near before the filing on October, hopefully decisions will be made. Siguro probably towards the end of this month or the first week of September.
So there's no certainty nga you will be a candidate for vice mayor.
And anything can happen, no? Anything can happen. Of course, it's a probability, a big probability, but I also do not discount the fact nga, again, ginatagta kay Cong Albee ang decision for the whole slates. For daw nami man nga amo na nga pagplastar, because ako ya personally, as I mentioned also in my previous interview, regardless if I'll be an elected official or appointed, it doesn't really matter.
And
that?
there goes that certainty nga either ma-appoint ka or madalagan ka.
I am more focused of serving the people than a position. Kay kabalo ko nga being part of Team Albee, if eventually Mayor Albee will be an elected official of the city, I'm very sure nga damo gid I'll be part of the change nga matabo diri sa syudad sa Bacolod, and that's where I'm excited.
Okay. So but you said bago lang it's a probability nga madalagan ka vice mayor. So when you say probability, it's different from possibility.
It's a possibility and a probability.
And a probability, okay. But there is that probability. Ang probability carries more certainty than possibility. So when you say probability, pila ka mong possible or pila ka mo ang ginapilian?
Well, as you mentioned, no, if I may quote Mayor Albee, nga he can work with anybody. And it's not about blind loyalty that matters. So, ang iyan nga basihan is somebody he can trust, number one, and can also work with him in a sense nga pareho ang outlook and vision for Bacolod. Amo nang nakita ko because ako yagapati ko from the early time nga nag-inupdanay kami. The real reason because of all this nga dapat ang pagbag-o nga ginahambal namon is true to form. And that is using the very word of Mayor Albee, that at the end of the day, his decision will be based to what we've started, the change that we wanted for Bacolod. So hindi niya parte, how close you are. It's about serving Bacolod, kag ang change nga gusto niya matabo diri sa Bacolod.
But of course, one accusation against your group, whatever that group is called, is gusto nyo change, but you are actually in alliance with groups that are not necessarily new, like MKK, like Abang Lingkod. But then again, these are accusations sang kontra nyo sa politika. But what can you say about that?
In the first place, what's wrong with MKK? There's nothing wrong. Just the same, hindi man tanan nga grupo progreso or nga may malain, di ba? It's not about the personality.
May ginahint ka? May nag-defect na sa inyo?
Definitely, yes. That's I cannot deny that. But what I'm saying is, ang pagbag-o nga gusto ni Mayor Albee nga matabo, it's not based on personality. It's not against kung sino ang mga sitting officials dira. It's not about them. It's about the institutional change nga gusto niya matabo diri sa syudad sa Bacolod.
But what I can sense right now, based on what is happening on social media, there are those nga mga groups nga may working alliance with Cong Albee nga nagasiling hindi sila sa mga defectors o sa masaylo from Grupo Progreso.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with them?
Well, I heard several of those opinion. They have the right sa ilang mga opinion nga sometimes people are so idealistic bala. Nga gusto nila total change again. But realistically, what is more important is no matter how much big of a dream that you want for Bacolod, you have first to win this election. Maging useless na tanan ang vision mo, ang gusto mo matabo if you will not win.
Well, that is practical politics, actually.
That's practical politics. And again, it doesn't mean, though, it doesn't mean kung ara kasubong, incumbent kasubong, not all of them are, some of them, maybe most of them are doing a good job.
Kaya daw ginakulbaan ko na isang inabalang dapat pagpungko sang bagong nga liderato, baguhon tanan. Because it happened in China, it happened in Vietnam, or even Cambodia. Ang daan patyon, daw kulbaan ko na.
Of course, amo na bala, Julius, nga siguro naanad na bala ang tao, naandan, nga once gani magkambyo ang administration, kambyuhan man tanan.
The winner take all, abe?
Winner take all, and do ka unfair man sina. I'm sure there are mga regular employees in government who are doing the right jobs that they're doing. Ang ginabasihan ng Pirmi Galing sa Gakalatabo for several elections nga ang loyalty sa tao ang ginapasalig, job order. Nga kung magdaog ka gani, tagan ta ka sa job order, which is, that is one thing that it needs to be changed. No? It needs to be changed.
And that is a word of caution, actually. Ang imo ginahambal nga, kisa kung magdaog ka, you are flushed with victory.
Yeah.
And you think everything you do is right.
So, amo na, para sa akon, hindi man na ma-deny, I'm sure they cannot also deny, nga of so many thousands of job orders, it's being unfair gani isang tuod nga mga GO nga gaubra gid ya. Like for example, mga traffic enforcers.
That's true.
Nga gaulan init, ara sila, wala na sila gani sa mga benefits. But more than 70% in my estimate, ang ginatawag nga ghost casual. And they are being used, especially during campaign, just to retain in power. Amo nang ila nga naandan which is, that has to be changed.
The following joined DNX in its second anniversary celebration. Former 3rd District Congressman Albee Benitez, Councilor Al Victor Espino, Councilor Wilson Jun Gamboa Jr., Abang Lingkod Congressman Stephen Paduano, and Mr. Ricardo Canotdan.
Which brings me to that issue. Ang problem basically diri is may mga trabaho which are important, like traffic enforcers.
Correct.
Ang mga rescue units ni.
Correct.
Nano pa? Mga firefighters. And nga, every time magpungko ang bagong administrasyon, islan. Now, that is very costly actually because ang gobyerno nag-spend for their training mo. And then, pagpungko sa bago, islan sila. And then you train again. Aside from that, amo ni sila tani ang mga institutional memory mo. They know how the system works, how the institution serves, pero wala ta mo na. Ang isa to ka traffic enforcer nga mayo, pagpungko bago nga mayor, kakas naman. And I think that's very important. Now, what would be the policy of the new administration kung kamo ang
Well,
magdaog?
definitely, everybody will be evaluated. No? Evaluate na sila tanan nga kung sinong really who deserves to be having that position. And para sa akon gani, when a city progresses economically and so on, mas madamo pang kinanglan The demands will grow. And one thing for sure, nga there's a delivery of basic services in exchange because ang ginasweldo ta sa mga GO are taxpayers' money. So there should be accountability on that aspect. Otherwise, it's corruption.
And in a way, that is also a driver of the local economy.
Correct.
Because public spending na
Yeah, that's correct. But the question is, how did you spend it correctly? Wisely.
That's true. And that is why regulation ang kinanglan.
Correct. So, for sure, Mayor Albee will be very fair to everyone na ma-evaluate din na sila.
But then again, you have to have a team. because ang mayor alone cannot do it
Exactly.
kung wala siya, halimbawa, team sa konseho. So you have to talk about candidates ninyo sa pagkakonsehal.
Correct.
Allow me to ask you this. Sinong mga possible candidates ninyo?
Well, ang makita ta visibly, no, hindi mo na ma-deny nga ang makita mo na on social media nga gaupod gid permi sa kay Mayor Albee si Patrick Lacson, no, a former board member sa province, now desire to serve Bacolod. So I believe he's a strong candidate that could be one of the slates.
Nakasaylo na di siya.
Yeah, he transferred registrations already.
Sino pa, sir?
Well, of course, the young upcoming councilor, si Jason, he's a big possibility na he can be included sa lineup. Of course, si Calao Fontebella, Homer Baez, Taddy Saison, Vladimir Gonzalez. Anything is possible.
Danay pa. Dala ka na tao. Okay, sino pa? Anom pa lang eh.
Yeah, I think there are feelers also nga mga babayi, nga mga comebacking councilors, no? Although I'm not privy to it. So there are two actually, although I cannot name them now.
Although what I can remember is Sonia Verdiflor.
She could be, yeah.
Sino pa? Josel Batapa.
She could be
Okay. Sino pa?
Celia.
Celia Flor.
Yeah.
Okay. Sino pa? Why na kung may madumduman.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. But that's only 8. 9 actually. Kung madami na bing tatlo, no?
Yeah.
Are you going to field a full slate?
I believe yes.
So meaning that's from congressman, mayor, vice mayor, down to councilors.
Yes.
Sinong possible congressional candidate ninyo?
I think ang makasabat si Mayor Albee gid lang.
But
Nothing is certain at this point of time. Even the vice mayor, though wala pa na certainty kung sino gid.
But is that congressional candidate a new face?
Well, again, I cannot comment on that because I think ang prerogative sina sa decision making is si Mayor Albee.
Daw kasadya sinabla basta magsabat ang interviewee, hindi ko ka-comment mo.
Yeah.
Daw
Hindi
ka interesting eh.
Yeah, dapat hindi ta pag-unahan ang aton principal.
Yes. Of course, I understand your point of view, no? But that tickles me even more. It makes me more interested kung sinong inyo congressional candidate, no? Let's see. Si Lyndon Kanya, wala man.
Well, ako personally, since I know Lyndon in a personal way, from the last time we had conversation, though hindi siya guro mag-participate sa local exercise.
And some find it sad, actually.
Exactly. You know, he's a good public servant.
Si Kanutan, is he joining you?
Well, I think of what I heard, he'll be running independently.
But you can actually adopt him.
That's an option.
That's an option. Okay. Since nag-announce si Cong Albee last July 22 sa iya desire to run as mayoral candidate, how has it been on the ground?
Well, if I may say, siguro nabatsagan man namon nga there's a groundswell of support kay Mayor Albee. It is actually snowballing in a sense nga mabatsagan man siyang tao eh. Anywhere you go, nga the message nga ginahatag ni Cong Albee daw gaamat-amat na dulot from A, B, C, D down sa E, no? If there's any, nga mabatsagan mo. There's a snowball of support which we are happy about.
Okay, now allow me to look into
And
that.
this is not artificial, ha? It's not artificial. We can really feel it nga ang tao subong daw nagmuklat na bala nga the message of change nga gina-share ni Mayor Albee.
But then again, ang spontaneous na show of support is not enough to win an election. Ang machinery ninyo, how is it now?
Well, we're working hard on it every day. Nga ginahimo na mo ng tanan nga to really organize, because at the end of the day, it would be the organization that will make a candidate win.
So you also believe that?
The delivery of votes.
Okay. Now, subong ang ginaistoryan, pila ang presyo ng boto eh. How do you find that? Nga ang ginaistoryan, pagsulod ni Cong Albee, pwede mag 5,000.
I would rather not indulge on that way of thinking. Okay, even money, even if you have so much money, it is not enough to win an election. What is strong, ang strength gid niya ni Mayor Albee is the message of change. Ang mensahe niya nga there will be an institutional change nga matabo diri sa syudad sa Bacolod. Like for example, which is very relevant, ang parte sa health. It's proven that effective siya sa 3rd District. The change that he did nga kung magmasakit ikaw, ang isa ka ordinaryo nga tao, hindi na siya kinanglan padrino sa NGC. In the middle of the night, kung may emergency, hindi na magtalang-talang ang espiritu niya kung kay sino siya mga bulig. That Mayor Albee want to change. And by providing a mechanism, in a sense, kung may card ang isa ka Bacolod nun, we will avoid the red tape. We will avoid approaching politician. Kaya kung gisagi na take advantage na sa politiko eh. Na as if dos yagid ko nung nagbulig.
Yes.
But in this case, Mayor Albee will negotiate, will talk among private hospitals here in Bacolod. Nga pag presentar mo sang card, wala ka na sang pililapan, and you will be entertained sa nga services nga dapat ihatag sa imo.
Well,
so that is for me a very good institutional change. Nga,
so you start with that health.
So he will start with that nga even if ang mga successors nga later on, if given the chance, i-implement na ina nga pamaagi so that ma-eliminate mo na ang patronage politics.
Pero na-flesh out yung naging totally kung ano ang nuancing sa sininga vision. For example, is there anything in particular about the economy, public utilities like Seneco and Basiwa nga issue? I don't know kung na-firm up na.
Well, wala pa na namon ng firm up. But going back again, balasang kakatabo gid subong sa actual, sa tuod lang, kadamo-damo na gid every single day, pila guro ka tawo nga gin-entertain sang grupo ni Mayor Albee na mabuligan. And some emergency cases, ang ga-response, talisay pa, mga ambulance. You may not know that, but it's happening. Para sa akon, these are the symptoms nga ang poor governance diri sa Bacolod is really real. Kadamo ga pangibulig, which is topsy-turvy patanan, di sila kabalo kung paano himuon because of patronage politics. Ang iban nga mga tao magpalapit sa barangay, wala ginatagan agency, wala ginatagan sang insakto nga pag serbisyo. So it's happening. And for me, those are the symptoms of poor governance.
But when can we possibly know kung ano gid ang inyong plano? Is it going to be before the filing ng COC or after na?
Which one?
Plans ninyo sa inyong plataforma and candidates?
Of course, before anything else, before the filing of candidacy, siyempre we have to finalize the slates.
That's one.
And we have to discuss on the program of government that is synchronized, aligned sa gusto man ni Mayor Albee, so that it will be delegated kay kadamo problema sa Bacolod eh. Hindi man na kaya sa isa ka tawo. So where your expertise is, where your mind is trained, basi dira ka man ihatag nga nga responsibility.
So can we expect by next month ma-finalize na?
Yeah, because the filing is fast approaching. So definitely we have to really discuss about it.
All right. On that note, Sir Vladdy, thank you so much.
Thank you again for having me, Julius.
Yes,
it's
sir.
a pleasure.
The following joined DNX in its second anniversary celebration. Chong Tapsilogan and Sizzlers, Bread Bite Bake Shop, Ting Ting's Native Food, ISK Tech, Country Homes, and Mr. Vladimir Gonzalez.